and turn them into nightmares.
See, when you're smarter than everybody else and you're more dominant than everybody else, winning just becomes easy. Please, but you're only booing because you know it's true. The first ever superstar to win both Raw Women's Championship and SmackDown Women's Championship. And the one and only goddess of WWE, Alexa Bliss.
That doesn't get you pumped. We are so excited here on SportsCenter. WWE superstar and Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss with us here on SportsCenter. Thank you so much. With SummerSlam a week away, I know you are very busy, so thank you for stopping by. But we want to know about you, Alex, because you become one of the most one of the most popular superstars in WWE, men, women. Why do you think that is?
Oh, well, thank you. You know, I don't really consider myself that, but, you know, I think, you know, I've been given such an amazing opportunity with WWE and to really have just so much fun with every opportunity that they've given me, and I just try to run with it and have fun with it and, you know, see what I can do for this division.
I want to go back to WrestleMania and that experience for you. 70,000 fans, Camping World Stadium, you hear your music, you hear it hit. What's going through your mind in that moment?
Oh my gosh, WrestleMania was amazing. You know, it was my first WrestleMania ever. In WrestleMania as the SmackDown Women's Champion and going down that 80-yard ramp, I just remember standing there taking it all in like, wow, this is WrestleMania. And then the second thought in my head was, my little legs have to go really fast because that is a really long ramp and we only have a certain amount of time to get there. So it was amazing. It was so much fun. My whole family was there and it was just, it's definitely the highlight of my career. I will never get anything higher than that.
Now, WWE Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon has talked to us on SportsCenter just about the evolution of women in WWE. You're in the front and center. How do you think it's evolved?
Oh my gosh, you know, it is such a wonderful time to be a woman in WWE right now. You know, we started off with, you know, our divas having these opportunities, you know, and wanting more, and then the crowd was starting to see that, and they started the hashtag Give Divas a Chance, and that just went viral, and it just made this whole movement, and it started with the 4 Horsewomen. You know, they were given the opportunity to show that, you know, our women deserve longer matches, our women deserve, you know, main event spots, and we're getting that now, and it is such amazing time for women because, you know, our 4 Horsewomen, they've paved the way for us, but, you know, I wasn't a 4 Horsewoman, so I made it my duty to, you know, make sure that I take this women's revolution and evolve it into something more and to keep it going and to show that, you know, our women in NXT that they're ready to keep it going, and it's been amazing.
And you're part of that continuing evolution. You're part of the new cast coming up on the show on E this fall. When you got that call, Total Divas, and you're one of just 3 new faces, you get that call, and what sort of validation is that for you for all the hard work you put into this point?
Oh, I was so excited when I was told I was going to be on Total Divas because I had always watched Total Divas,
right,
and I thought it was really cool. And then I remember my best friend Kaylin actually called me, and she was just like, "Why are you on Total Divas? You're not even that interesting." And
this is your best friend?
She keeps me in check. She keeps me humble.
So your former best friend? Go
No,
on.
my truest best friend because she's super honest.
See.
And you know, it's been so exciting, and I'm on there with Nia Jax and Carmella, and Nia Jax and I are super close. And to have that bond with somebody and to be able to show that on Total Divas has been so much fun, and we call each other out on stuff, we have our little moments, but then we always come back together, and it's been a lot of fun.
And you know what makes you so real and people they want to know about you and everything is what you share with the folks and how human and real you are. Earlier on SportsCenter, you did share a struggle with a near fatal eating disorder. How was the reaction to that, and why do you think people related to that?
You know, the reaction to that, I was actually really nervous talking about that for the first time, and that was the first time I really publicly spoke about it, about, you know, hey, I had an eating disorder twice, almost died from it, you know, kind of put myself out there, and I've had such a positive feedback from that, and it was very surprising because, you know, being in the position that we're in, we put ourselves out there for critiques and people to criticize us and, you know, pick us apart, but, you know, it was really refreshing, and the fact that people were so accepting, it was amazing because I feel like it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. You know, body image is a thing. Like, people have issues with their body image, and, you know, I just want to be that person that says, you know, I've been there, I've been through it. I mean, I did a hospital visit when we were in, I think it was Rome, and the patients there had eating disorders, and they didn't know that I had an eating disorder, and I was visiting, and these kids, they weren't even making eye contact with me. They weren't looking at me. They weren't they weren't responding. But then as soon as they heard that I had an eating disorder and I had gone through it, they started asking questions. They made eye contact. They were very receptive, and it was just amazing. And to be able to connect with somebody that's going through it is something that I'm really passionate about. And I just want to say, you know, like, there is life outside of a scale and outside of a size and outside of a weight, and it's amazing.
Right, to measure yourself in other ways, right? To judge yourself and judge your successes in other ways. We also understand that you are an animal lover.
Oh.
What can you tell us about one of your pets named Larry Steve?
Oh my gosh. So Larry Steve is actually my pet pig. I kind of got him without my fiance's permission, but it was for Total Divas. And I saw Larry Steve, and he's adorable. I just love him to pieces. Oh. He is deaf, so it's very challenging to, you know, teach little commands, but I have taught him to sit and to eat an apple, and it's the cutest thing ever because he like spreads his legs and opens his mouth real big, and it's oh my gosh, it's adorable.
Where does he sleep?
He has a crib.
Oh,
he has a crib.
He has a crib.
Oh.
He is very spoiled.
Yeah.
He is, and my dogs love him, and he loves the dogs.
How many animals do you have?
I have 3.
You have a farm.
I should have a farm, but you know, my fiance, he helps tremendously. My parents help tremendously. My mom is obsessed with Larry Steve. Like, she comes over every day, and she bought him a baby like backpack, one of those little baby things, and she was carrying him around yesterday in that.
Like a baby.
Oh, like a baby
like
Bjorn,
a baby.
like a pig.
That's exactly what it is.
How big will Larry Steve get when he's full grown?
So his parents are 40 pounds.
What?
Is that big for a pig? I don't know.
Well, pigs can be up to like 500
That's
from
what
what I've heard.
right.
But you know what? Here's the thing. The vet says it's very hit or miss, that they could be 40 pounds or they could be 500. So,
Right.
you know, I just think, you know what? If he's 500 pounds, he's 500 pounds of love. You know
There
what
we
I'm
go.
saying?
So who sold you this deaf, possibly gigantic pig? Like, did you pay money? Did you pay money for
Well,
this
we got
pig?
him from a pig farm.
Right.
They had all these little pigs, and he was the runt, and it was so cute because they shook the
babe.
food, and all the pigs ran, and Larry Steve didn't because he couldn't hear it, so he was just standing, and I was like, I want you.
Did you name Larry Steve, or was he already?
So I wanted to name him either Larry or Steve, and Nia Jax was with me, and she was like, she just started calling him Larry Steve. Because, you know, I'm a big fan of like Impractical Jokers and how he always goes, Larry, and like yells for nobody named Larry. And then Steve, I've always just like Steve. So I just think it'd be fun to have a pet named Larry Steve, and it's the best reaction whenever I tell people his name. They're just like, Larry Steve? And I'm like, yes, Larry Steve.
All right, let's get back. We'll get back to the business at hand here. We know that SummerSlam is coming up later this month in Brooklyn. We know you're on the card. We don't know who you're facing, and maybe you can't share this with us. But who would you like to face?
I mean, I'm going to have a tough opponent no matter who it is. You know, I know this week Nia Jax and Sasha Banks face each other to decide who does face me at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was a little cocky with it. I'm not going to lie. And I was like, I'd give anybody the opportunity to lose to me at SummerSlam.
Ooh.
But here's the thing. So I have Sasha Banks, who was one of the 4 horsewomen, who has, you know, taken this revolution to where it is. And then I have Nia Jax, who is my close friend, but is also twice my height. So...
The choice is kind of...
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? I mean, I would love to have a match against Nia Jax. I would love that.
Yeah.
But I know, you know, I'd rather have her on my side than against me.
Right.
And, you know, I've faced Sasha before. You know, she's a great competitor. And, you know, she keeps trying to get my title, and I'm not going to let it happen. So if she wants to try again at SummerSlam, she's more than welcome to.
Okay. All right. So we know that your power move is Twisted Bliss.
Yes.
I came up with one.
You did.
And maybe it's just something you could say after you win. You could just like, you've been Bliss-missed.
Oh.
Right? Like you've been dismissed, like class Bliss-missed. Like your chances have been Bliss-missed. This is for naming my pig Larry Steve.
About
not-
that?
Oh, it's not good. Wow. All right. You can catch SummerSlam August 20th on the WWE Network. Alexa Bliss. Hopefully she retains the title waking up Monday morning. We appreciate it, champ. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Still ahead, we've got Paul Feinbaum live. What Nick Saban is saying about his Florida State coaching counterpart. 22 days shy of Bama's showdown with the Seminoles. And because Alexa's here, we might ask something about Ohio State. I don't know.
There you go.
These guys center live.
Just what kind of show are we going to have on this Friday? All sorts of things hanging over the program. We're sending you into the weekend in style, though. Antonietta Collins, Randy Scott with you for the next 2.5 hours or so. Adam Schefter going to join us shortly with the very latest on the NFL's investigation of Ezekiel Elliott.
That's right, we're going to have every highlight you need to start your day, including reasons why Bears and Jags fans are feeling pretty good this morning. up, we start with the weight for NFL news off the field, as you mentioned, with Zeke Elliott.
All right, let's welcome in our NFL insider, Adam Schefter, to SportsCenter here this morning. Adam, where do things stand right now with the league's investigation of Ezekiel Elliott?
Randy, we are awaiting a decision from the NFL today. It is expected to come down at some point today. The NFL has been investigating Ezekiel Elliott for domestic violence allegations that go back to 2016. Now, if the league finds that he did violate this policy, the benchmark for that violation is 6 games. Now, the league has the authority to adjust and either upgrade or downgrade, increase or decrease that 6-game benchmark suspension for domestic violence violations any which way it chooses under the certain set of circumstances that have come up. In this particular case, this is long, this is complicated, and this is layered. There are many layers to this. And we start with the fact that this Ezekiel Elliott investigation has gone on for well over a year. It comes following the NFL's incidents with Ray Rice in 2014 and Josh Brown last year. I bring up Josh Brown because Josh Brown was suspended for 1 game last year after the NFL had interviewed Ezekiel Elliott. And then a month or so later, the journal surfaced that documented an abusive relationship that existed between Josh Brown and his wife, heaping more embarrassment on the league after it had strengthened up its office and hired people to deal with these types of issues and avoid the type of embarrassment that came along. So if the league is ever going to err right now, it is going to err to the side of caution. The question becomes, how does the league frame what Ezekiel Elliott has done here? In which category? Does it view it as a domestic violence policy violation? Does it view it as a personal conduct policy violation? Because there are enough of those incidents as well. We have Ezekiel Elliott being charged with speeding, going over 100 miles an hour, which was a misdemeanor, which is a violation of the personal conduct policy. We have him pulling down a woman's shirt on St. Patrick's Day, captured on video, violation of the personal conduct policy. The league can view this in any prism. But if it decides to go the domestic violence route, which I think most people do, it's 6 games, and the league can increase or decrease that suspension. Subsequent to that, we have Jerry Jones versus Lisa Friel in the league office, hired to investigate incidents like this, make recommendations on rulings in incidents like this. And if the league goes ahead and suspends Ezekiel Elliott at a time where Jerry Jones has said that there's no evidence that Ezekiel Elliott committed any acts of domestic violence here, it sets up a potential showdown between the two sides. And it also sends a message to Jerry Jones from the league office that nobody is above the league office. You're not, Robert Kraft is not, and we are going to make it such that we believe that we're going to hand down fair punishments. There are so many different ways to look at it, and I think not the least of which is Ezekiel Elliott, because if he's suspended for a substantial amount of time, this would represent a serious fork in the road for his career. There are people in and around that organization that are concerned about Ezekiel Elliott. They're concerned about his lifestyle. They're concerned about the choices that he makes, the acts that he's engaged in. And so who knows what happens to Ezekiel Elliott? There have been enough people that have talked to him if he's suspended and if he's away from the training facility for an extended period. I think there are people that are concerned about him now. They would be concerned about him if there is a lengthy suspension. And so we today should get some type of resolution to an investigation that's gone on over a year, but to a story that threatens to linger on for days and weeks and months ahead.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter succinctly summarizing this situation right now with Ezekiel Elliott. Adam, I'm sure we'll talk to you again throughout this program as news warrants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, now to the best from the NFL on the field Thursday night. Chicago Bears taking on the Broncos, testing out, yes, quarterbacks. Mitchell Trubisky, Mike Glennon, who started the game, but it didn't go too well for Glennon. Let's get to the action. First possession, 3rd and 8 for the $18 million QB. Looking downfield with 3 defenders in the area. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. So what do you think is going to happen next? Yep, pass intercepted by Chris Harris Jr., who returns it for a 50-yard touchdown. That puts the Broncos up 7-0. Now, later in the first quarter, Broncos up 10-0. High snap from center Cody Whitehair goes over Glennon's head, and it is recovered by Denver. Glennon, 2 of 8, 20 yards, 1 interception. Now, to the rookie, the spotlight on Mitchell Trubisky. Who'd had better luck than Glennon second quarter, second and fourth. Trubisky completes that pass to Josh Bellamy, who breaks a tackle for a big gain. Later that drive in the red zone, Trubisky, he rolls left, finds Victor Cruz for the touchdown. We get the salsa dance, maybe a little despacito, now that that's in style. Bears on board. Now down 10-7, third quarter, same score, second and 11. Trubisky, he breaks tackles. He's scrambling right there for a 12-yard gain.
Graceful.
Very graceful. Same drive, second and 10. Trubisky, he finds Deontay Thompson on the sideline. Things looking good. First and goal. Then Trubisky finds now Ruben Randall, who goes down at the 1. Bears would score a rushing touchdown the following play. However, they did fall to the Broncos 24-17. Mike Glennon threw a pick 6 on Chicago's opening drive, something he's never done in his NFL career. Although Trubisky got in the game late in the second quarter, each of his first 2 drives resulted in a touchdown. Last season, the Bears struggled to do the same, scoring a touchdown on the first drive of the game twice. For more from the NFL, here's Randy.
All right, let's get to the very top of that draft class there, Tony. It's Myles Garrett, number 1 overall pick, making his preseason debut for the Browns, going against the Saints and making a tackle there on Alvin Kamara. Kamara kind of lost in the running back shuffle there in New Orleans. You got Mark Ingram, you got Adrian Peterson. They did not roll out either of those players, nor did they put Drew Brees in the game. And maybe that's why Garrett rushing Garrett Grayson, backup quarterback there for the Saints. A little quarterback pressure as Myles Garrett had a nice debut. They asked him, they said, "What didn't you do well?" He said, "Nothing." 2-time Super Bowl champion Damian Woody joining us here on SportsCenter. So we finally got to see the top overall pick, about whom there had been plenty of discussion so far through rookie minicamp, and now we'll get to talk about him more with a little bit of game film. Didn't have a sack in this game, but what were your initial impressions of what you saw?
Very impressed, because it's not necessarily about the sacks. I wanted to see the traits that everyone spoke glowingly about, in the NFL draft and leading up to this point. You saw the bend, you saw the speed off the ball, the explosiveness, his power. Those are the things that's going to serve him well, not only rushing the passer, but stopping the run. And when you saw that one play from Myles Garrett, I mean, literally he just collapsed the explosiveness off the edge, collapsed in the pocket. People think the game of football is about, when it comes to on defense, it's about sacks. Pressure can be even better than sacks, because you force quarterbacks to throw the ball where they don't want to throw it, which create turnovers. So we got a taste of that last night, and I'm sure as he gains more experience, he'll get better at rushing the passer.
One quick other question here on Myles Garrett. Any concern at all about a guy who puts so much emphasis on a preseason game? His words coming in, he said he wanted to send a message. Is there any part of you that's like, listen, Rook, this is week 1 of the preseason?
Well, I just look at it as, he has high expectations of himself. And when you're the number 1 overall pick, a lot of people are going to be looking at you. They're going to be focused on you. And he's heard the chatter before. A lot of people during the draft process question his desire to play, to really want to be the best in football. So all those things factor in when he makes a statement like that.
Let's get to another rookie here. That's quarterback DeShone Kizer. Made the most of his opportunities last night for the Browns. Went 11 of 18, had 184 yards and a touchdown. So, Damien, did that performance put Kizer in the discussion for the starting job week 1 of the regular season?
Well, absolutely, because I don't think there's a definitive week 1 starter anyway. I mean, you're talking about a guy who his skill set is totally different from the other 2 quarterbacks on their roster. He's a big, strong, big-armed, athletic guy. The other two quarterbacks, Brock Osweiler and Cody Kessler, they don't have the physical skill set that DeShone Kizer brings to the table. Now, he's a rookie. He's still learning the NFL game, but if this guy continues to put it together, not just game by game, but practice by practice, he's going to give Hugh Jackson something to think about come week 1.
That's the thing. If Brock Osweiler's the only thing standing between you and a starting job,
he's going to be all right. He'll be all right.
Maybe an opportunity. That's Damian Woody with the Insight for us, with us all morning on SportsCenter. Tony?